The psychology of 70s kids. People who grew up in the 1970s carry a mindset that's almost impossible to explain to anyone born after the 2000s. Not because they're better, but because they were built differently. Yes, they are. They were shaped by silence, by freedom, by danger, also by sheer strength of mind and by a kind of childhood that would terrify parents today. Back then, supervision was minimal. Basically, parents can't afford to. If you disappeared for 5 hours, nobody panicked. There was no phone, no GPS, no tracking, just a bicycle, a few friends, and a loose promise to be home before dark. And psychologically, that did something powerful. It created an inner confidence most people today never develop. Risk-taking, the quiet belief that says, "I'll figure it out," even when they have absolutely no idea how. But to understand the psychology of 70s kids, you have to look at who raised them. Most of their parents lived through World War II, or grew up in its shadow. These were people who knew real fear, real hunger, real sacrifice. They didn't talk much. They didn't complain. They didn't explain their trauma. They survived, and without meaning to, they passed that survival mindset down. That's why 70s kids matured early. Responsibility wasn't taught, it was absorbed. It was the scar that reminds them. You helped. You fixed things. You figured things out. If something broke, you repaired it. If something went wrong, you adapted. There was no expectation that someone would come save you. The help was you and you only. And here's the part people forget. That world forced you to grow a backbone. You watched your parents work long hours without applause. You saw neighbors help each other without posting about it. You saw adults carry real weight, quietly. That kind of environment hardens a child in the best way. It teaches you that life is serious, but manageable. That problems are normal. That responsibility isn't punishment, it's part of being alive. People raised in the 70s became dependable because they had no alternative. That's why, even today, they feel older than their age, not physically, mentally. Their maturity didn't come from books or courses. It came from watching real life up close, without filters, without distractions. Living it, they were the bridge, 1 foot in a slow, raw, analog world, and 1 foot in a fast, loud, digital one. They remember life without internet, without screens, without constant noise. And now they're watching a generation drown in it. Maybe that's why talking to someone from that era feels different. They're grounded, present, unimpressed. They're not competing, not performing, not chasing validation. Their confidence was forged early, through struggle, through responsibility, through being tested before they even knew the word responsibility. They remind us of something simple, but uncomfortable. Strength isn't taught, it's tested. Now look at the generation born after the 2000s. Phones before speech, screens before silence, notifications, videos, messages, endless timelines. Their brains have been running at full speed since childhood, and the effects are everywhere. They burn out faster. They feel overwhelmed sooner. Their attention disappears in seconds. Not because they're weak, but because their minds are overloaded. They consume more information in a single day than someone in the 70s did in an entire week. Social media connects them, but it also pressures them, drains them. They compare without realizing it. They feel behind even when they're doing fine. Their minds never truly rest, because the phone never stops calling. Scrolling feels like relaxation, but it isn't. This generation is intelligent, creative, open-minded, but also mentally drained, overstimulated, and emotionally exhausted in ways previous generations never faced. They're growing up in a world moving faster than the human brain was ever designed to handle. So here's the real question. Which generation had it harder, and why? And tell me, are you from before 1980, or after it?